Remember this disturbing RS-3 situation where we slammed into a train? This is Burr Stewart, and I thought I would go live while I fix it, if that makes sense. So let's get on with the show. First thing we're going to do is uncouple the caboose. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, and watch my previous stream where I ran this train with the RS-3s on the wrong track. So now we're going to back up. I'm going to try to use the tripod so we have a much better view of things here. And you can see here that this train is stretched all out in Interbay yard. We need to back it up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and back it up. I don't know if you can see yeah, you can see this controller. This is the NCE controller. I've got it set up. I got to do reverse, 3 horn blows. And we should be able to back up. There we go. Very, very nice. So much for that caboose and car and train. There was a whole train on the other side of that caboose that was waiting to be classified. This is the Interbay yard, my HO scale railroad, and the sand towers there are eventually going to be finished. Now let's take the camera and the throttle over to the other area. This will be a little bit jerky for a second. See, I set up a little camera stand here. It was pretty terrible the other day when I told you I was going to run this into a certain track in the yard, and then I forgot to check the switch. There we go. Now it'll be a little still. So see how the train is very slowly backing out of the yard ladder there? All these tracks over here. All these tracks over here are the classification tracks, but we didn't want to go straight in there. We wanted to go over here to the arrival track, the B track as it's called. Now, we've just cleared that switch, so there's no reason to keep going. Boy, did you hear that nice sound? I hope you can hear some of this. And now I'm going to flip this switch, and I'm going to flip this switch, and that's going to allow us to just go right on into the B track. Although, for a video like this, maybe it makes more sense to have it squiggle over. It does, right? Let's go into the A track. We're going to the A track. So now we're going to set our direction to forward. 2 blasts on the horn. Took me a lot of time to get that horn loud enough that you could hear it. I suppose we could have a bell too. You don't hear the bell too well. Now, to everyone's surprise and delight, we have a passenger train going around on the loop that you'll see here, pulled by a SDP-45, Great Northern green colors. Oh, look at that. I think we have to show that closer up, don't we? This is what model railroading is about. Cool parallel moves. Now that passenger excursion train is going under the Gravis overpass there. We'll let it go by because we have other things to worry about. Whoa, look at that. cool. All right, we'll see that passenger train again. It'll probably come around if it doesn't stall or some other thing. Now I'm really sorry about the shaking. I'm going to put this camera back in the stand so we have a chance to watch it without getting sick. There we go. And you know, I could, that's good enough, right? The main point is that we recovered our mistake the other day, and now we're pulling into the A track in Interbay Yard with this train that we brought around. Now, after we get the whole train in the A track, the obvious thing to do would be to take the two engines that were pulling the train and park them in the Interbay Engine Terminal, which is on your left there. Now, that's easy to say. Of course, we have that train running around on the main line that you saw, the passenger train. By the way, you can see it in the distance going away. The passenger train is an excursion special that's going to meet the narrow gauge train to the Cascade Mountains that's in Everett. That's a whole nother story for a different time. Right now, we're just parking this train in the A track. And it looks like we're about to clear. So we'll just go ahead and turn that bell off. And one blast. I doubt you could hear any of that on the phone, but it's worth a try. So now let's go down there and uncouple the, let's go uncouple the engines and put them away in the roundhouse. This is the view from the other end of the yard, which you've seen at various times in my other videos on the channel. Just search for Interbay and it'll probably pop up switching in Interbay. First thing we need to do is uncouple the train. And now we can go ahead and pull forward. Why the headlight and rotating beacon isn't on is beyond me. We probably should have blown the horn before we started moving, but that's all right. Now this could be fun. That was the sound of me hanging up the throttle. So we've left our train behind. And now we're just going to move these engines to the engine terminal. Once again, you notice I forgot to blow the grade crossing on time. Not the easiest thing in the world to... I'm going to go straight here. And then we'll go back up through this crossover. That momentum nice? And now we're going to come back the other way and hope that, let me flip the switch here, hope that our passenger train isn't coming. I haven't seen the passenger train recently. Let's look at this one more time. With any luck, it's going to come out, or maybe it's stalled in the tunnel, who knows. All right, we have the crossover lined, and now we can back up. So we'll go reverse, and 3 blasts. That's for 3 blasts for backing up. And now we need to blow for the grade crossing. That's a little better. I'll turn off the bell now. Park the sky a little bit. Seems a little dark there. I wonder why. These buildings right here will eventually turn into something called Subota Steel, which was a steel company in Interbay. Good for switching. And now we have to stop and flip the switch there. I didn't stop all the way. And the reason I didn't stop all the way is because that passenger train is coming around again. So I really wanted to get out of the way. But we've had more than one screw up so far on this series of live streams. But I thought maybe the thing to do now, let's just park this, let's have this guy stop. The brakeman was here at the switch, so he's going to put that switch back to the main, and now he's going to walk back and get on the engine. Meanwhile, while he's doing that, we have the passenger special coming down at us. You see that? And they can blow a friendly toot to each other, just for fun. Very nice. The SDP-45. Yeah, we'll let the engine proceed over towards the engine terminal. That worked out pretty much as I'd hoped. Always good to have a meet. But now we have to make sure we have a place for these engines to park. So let's take a look at that. We want them right here on this middle track. So I'll flip that switch, and we'll flip that switch. And now hopefully they're lined up to go right into the engine terminal. There we go. That's just what we want. And hopefully we can stop in time not to smash into that other engine. Apply the brake. There we go. I had to apply the brake to get that to stop. And I guess we could do a little bit of a horn. You know, the single toot means we've stopped, so everyone's safe to get out and move around the engine. Well, with that, I guess we could call it a day, except let's shut down the engine so you can hear that sequence one more time. You ready? Very nice. Very, very nice. Now you can see these new RS-3s have taken their place in the engine terminal with a Jeep 9 and a bunch of Great Northern units. There's actually an SP&S torpedo boat in the back there. And of course, here's one of the new Scale Trains GP30s in the so-called Chinese red CB&Q Burlington Route scheme. Somebody asked me about this sand car the other day. This is a sand car that a friend of Ray Wheeler's scratch built, well, kit bashed from a Cato cement hopper. Now these were, sand is very heavy, so these were sand cars that the Great Northern used. And we have the factory mine, I guess you'd call it, where they made the cement, not the cement, where they mined the sand out of the river up in the Cascade Mountains. We have that over on the other side of the room, on the concrete branch, way over there by the Paul Scholes Bridge. So it's quite a job to bring the loaded sand from all over there all the way around the layout to here. But anyway, that's for another day. Hope you enjoyed this, and see you all later. But don't hesitate to look up my website. Search for Interbay, switching an Interbay if you want to see more of this kind of thing. We've got lots of videos there about it. So for now, this is Burr Stewart wishing you much fun with trains.